Alright, so hey guys, today I'll be making a video on how to determine the appropriate size prey item to feed to your ball python. I'm making this video because I see a lot of people feeding their ball pythons prey items that are either too small or too large, but for the most part, believe it or not, prey items that are too small. So today here we have a pinky mouse and a adult mouse. The adult mouse are what my ball python of 6 months is currently on. Now, to how to say, a beginner snake owner or someone who's like in their first feeding, this pinky mouse would just look, much more safer than the seems to be a huge adult mouse. The pinky mouse will look much more safer. Now, I'm guessing they think that because they go and feed based on the size of the rodent compared to the snake's head, which is not a good idea. What you want to do is base the size of the rodent on the widest part of the snake when it comes to ball pythons. You see, like this right here, as you can clearly see, this pinkies are really small and adult mice have much more size to them. So to someone, this adult mouse will look pretty dangerous to feed and this pinky wouldn't. Now you must remember, ball pythons from birth, they can easily take down pinky mouse and fuzzy mouses. So I think around 2-3 months and up, it should be hoppers and then so forth. Alright, so I'll show you what I mean by comparing the width of the rodent to the widest part on your ball python. Right by the widest part of your ball python belly or body, what I mean is, now compare the pinky mouse to the widest part on her body, which happens to be around here. So compare the pinky mouse to that. Yeah, let's see if we get a good shot. There we go. Sorry, she's wiggling a lot and I'm trying to see that. And then if you compare the adult mouse to her, I don't want to put it too close, but just for the sake of the video, compare the adult mouse. You can clearly see she's ready for adult mice. So I'll just set her down before she starts going crazy. Her feeding response is really good, so she might just try to bite one right now. So I'll set her down. I said once before, sorry, I was just shaking so much. She was trying to get out and get at the mouse a bit. I just want to warn you that what I just did was not really safe, because if they start to smell it, they might try to go after it, and you don't want the smell of the mouse on your hand or not. So make sure to thoroughly wash your hands before and after feedings, and don't really have the mouse just laid out like that. Alright, so now, where was I? Oh yes. So, like I was saying, you want to base the size of the rodent on the girth, not the size of the ball python's head. But you must remember that ball pythons, their lower jaws, if I'm saying this correctly, are connected to the upper jaw by like somewhat elastic ligaments, which allows the jaws to open up very wide. Like the two lower halves of the jaw are connected at the not connected at the chin. So the jaw can also be spread sideways and all sorts of other ways. And the skull, like the skull is like the skull to the other parts of the head is really loosely connected. So like the jaws are able to move independently and like expand kind of to like 150-degree angle, I believe. I'll post the link up there, up in the video, just so you could get a better understanding of what I'm saying, because I'm totally spaced out about that right now. Yeah, so sorry about that. Now, the adult mouse, like, it looks a little larger, but remember, once it's in the belly, it'll kind of be constricted a bit, like, and inside, and like squeezed up and inside the belly, whatever you want to say. And the pinky mouse, this is just insanely small for a ball python of her size. And I know it's not a good idea to base it just on my ball python, but you can use the same rule with your ball python. Just base the size of the rodent on the same size of your ball python, largest part. The mouse, the rodent could be just a little bit wider, just a little bit, or just a little bit smaller. That doesn't really matter. As long as it's not something that's like way too much smaller than the widest part or way too much larger than the widest part, you're perfectly fine. Now, if you don't want to feed stuff that's appropriate size, you can like go with feeding twice a week on smaller rodents. Like with her, if I wanted to feed twice a week, I would feed her 2 hopper mice a week, but not at the same feeding, like like every 5 days. But I feed her 1 adult mouse every 7 days, and that's really good for her. I'm not too much of a fan on power feeding, so I feed once a week the appropriate size spray item. And like I once said already, it's dangerous to have your ball python right side by the mouse to try and compare the limbs, especially if the mouse is still frozen like this one, which I will throw in the water right about now to thaw out, whatever. But like, yeah, because their feeding responses could go up, and they could probably turn around and strike you, or start to associate you with food, and that's really not a good idea for the most part. So if you could get like a ruler, a measuring tape, yeah, and see if you can measure the girth, or simply you can use your hands like in a circular motion, like no homo, but like that, and just measure the width of the snake, and then compare it to the mouse. Make sure when you do find the perfect size prey to feed that you remember what size it is, as in pinky mouse, fuzzy mouse, hopper, etc. So that when you do go to the store to buy your feeders, you can just make it in and out and just get the appropriate size. And over time it will upgrade, but I don't see too many ball pythons making it over like medium rats to large rats, and that's the females. But right now she's good on adult mouse. So please, I just want to stress, don't feed your ball python things like this that are too small, because that really won't get the job done, and it's not good to starve them. I know snakes in general have a digestive tract, you can say, that's basically built to be on empty for a long periods of time, but still, it's really not that good. It's not good at all to starve them in captivity, and I'm not really a big fan of it. Feeding them prey items that are too small, feed them, or too large. Feed them things that are the right size and keep them happy. And don't feed them things basically that are too big just for your excitement, or things that, or don't feed them too frequently for your own excitement. If you're getting a ball python just to watch it feed, you don't deserve a snake, honestly. I admit, as a ball python owner, a reptile owner in general, the feeding part could sometimes prove to be a bit exciting, you can say, but it's not good to buy an animal just to watch it feed. I personally, after I do feed her, if I'm feeding live, I will sit around until I'm sure the mouse is dead, and then I'll turn off the lights and leave out the room and let her eat in privacy. And if I'm feeding frozen thawed, I'll just give it to her and leave out the room point blank. Unless I'm making like a feeding vid or something like that, then I'll put her in a bed and let her do her business. And I like to leave the top of the enclosure off, so she could just crawl back in. I don't even have to handle her after she's done eating. So yeah, this is just a video, of course it's a video on YouTube, but alright, so I hope you really learned something, and if you have any questions at all, please feel free to private message me, PM, whatever, or leave a comment on the video. I will get back to you as soon as possible, and I will try to answer as soon as possible. And you could add information to the video in the comments below if you feel there's something I left out, because I like to teach and learn at the same time, so that'd be really helpful too for me and other ball python eaters. Wow, douchebag. Alright, so yeah, just thought I'd end it off with some footage of her on top of my bed looking for food. Yep, she's up here just looking around. There she goes. I set her up here. I'm gonna be feeding her in a couple of minutes, so I'll play around with her before I have to wait the 48 hours again before I can't hold her. So, yep. Guess I'm gonna say I'm out now. Bye. Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. See ya.